This conference will now be recorded.
All right. It's 6:30, Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, Town Cottage Grove Hall, Cottage Grove Fire District Commission meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum present. The agenda was posted at the town and at the village. We have the minutes of 11:27.
I'll move approval as long as I get my name right.
Didn't I send it up to you?
You want capital P?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Still
Sorry.
sounds the same.
I may just have to leave it small, just to move the bear.
Sorry.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion to approve the minutes as presented? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions. Motion carried. Are there any public appearances? There are opportunities to speak about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Chief's report.
All right. We're currently sitting at 44 staff for the year. That's 10 officers, 2 driver operators, 31 firefighters, and 1 probationary member. We're at 342 calls plus those 2 exposure calls for the year. That's averaging 0.97 calls per day. If it continues at that rate, we'll be at 355 for the year. Got the breakdown on the charts there. Once again, false alarms and good intent calls lead all of our calls. No updates on apparatus info right now, no updates on equipment. For November, the training was vehicle lockouts, extrication, and car fires. Training for December is going to be bloodborne pathogens and CPR recertifications. We brought on 1 new member in December. We received another applicant for a new member, and they are currently going through the hiring process. Only staff milestone for this month is Jason Helgland with 17 years.
Any questions? And we'll move on, discuss, consider quote to replace ladder 1 in 2028.
So we talked about last night at the village and agreed to move forward as long as there was no prepayment.
As long as there was no prepay?
We didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze.
No, I
Cash in.
just, yeah.
And the town approved it too, as long as in 2028 payment is based on that year's budget.
Tell me more about that.
What? But the payment that the town and the village would make in 28 would be based on our budget numbers, the percentage.
Yeah, that's based on the agreement, so yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. Right?
Are you concerned that it's different than it is today based on the agreement? Or there is going to be a new agreement by the time that comes?
No,
No,
just the
what we've been
percentages change
told-
as we, you guys get bigger and we stay the same.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, whatever happens. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
yeah.
If there's a formula.
That was just,
Yeah.
that was
based
the
on
thing that was brought up.
formula in the agreement.
But we've already been told by your finance director that the squad that's coming this year, they're basing the payment on 22 when it was ordered.
So that, let me go look at the.
So we just wanted to be sure that it's based on whatever that percentage is in 28 when it comes.
Well, we should make sure we're clear on that with Cameron before we agree to it here.
I think it, because the squad was purchased under the old agreement, was ordered under the old agreement. this one be ordered
Which
on,
was the old agreement.
That was null and void after we signed the new one before it came.
I'm looking for the. Staff's checked with the attorneys multiple times, and the attorneys have consistently said that with trucks that were purchased multiple years prior, that the old agreement and the old funding formula holds true.
So if I'm saying this, repeating back to you, is that we need to agree that the payment in 2028 will be based on the allocations that are present in 2020.
For 2028, correct.
Can't seem to find the new agreement.
And so will you have something for us to sign at our next meeting prior to the January 28th date that they had on here?
Can get you something to sign this week if you wanted it. So,
I suppose we should wait until the 22nd.
Just want to find the agreement because it's pretty clear. I think we all agree in principle. I just want to find the agreement. I should keep a copy of it.
I'll get the, I'll request something, the contract for the sign this week.
There it is.
And I'll get it out to both of you because I know last time the village attorney made some modifications to it. So that way, I'd rather, if they're gonna do that, I'd rather have plenty of time to do it. So we're not down to the last minute like we were with the squad.
Yeah. Are
So
you guys meeting that first week in January?
No,
No,
So it'll be the third week?
yeah, because the second week is also, yeah. But you need to have it by then.
we're meeting on the 16th.
yeah, it has to be signed and returned by January 31st.
I think 28th.
Yeah,
We just find the verbiage for this agreement. I think we should be good.
or January 28th is what it says on there.
Yeah,
On the current agreement.
Right.
so that was good.
Okay.
January 28th, so
Yeah.
I think they'll probably meet on the 22nd, which would be time enough for approval to sign it then and get it back to them.
So I'll get, like I said, I'll try to get it this week and get it to both boards.
Both
So if
boards.
either of your attorneys want to review it like you did last time, that you got.
Yeah, we better get it out of the way up front this time to see if no misunderstandings.
You can read it over Christmas
There you
or
go.
New Year's. Attorneys can read it over the holidays.
Yeah.
So we should have this on the next agenda then too, I would assume.
Well, I think we can approve it tonight. I just want to read the joint agreement. Because I think for this purchase, everything's very, very clear in the agreement.
I thought it was very, very clear about the last one too, but
Do you have a copy of it, Chris, Andy?
of what?
The
The current agreement.
current agreement? Actually, I think I just found a copy.
Yeah, in the office. I have one. You want me to go get it?
No, I might have one here. Hold on.
When's your election?
What?
When's your election?
It was in November.
Did you win?
Yeah, I'm still here. Nobody else. Nobody else.
Nobody told me any different, so.
I thought the election was in December.
No, well, it was the first week of December.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 more years.
Might be able to put up with you that long.
We find things easier on this side.
Did you find it okay?
Yeah, oh, there we go. Found it. Bookmark this one forever. All right. Boundaries, commission, accounting, budget, ESB repair fund. Okay. The costs and expenses of the district, after being offset by any revenues received by providing fire protection services, shall be paid by the municipalities in proportion to the respective equalized valuation of all real property within the municipalities, percentage of the total equalized value of all real property located in the municipalities. Percentage share shall be based on the prior year's equalized valuation. That's what you guys are looking for, right?
So in 28, the prior year would be 27.
Yeah, 20, it'd be what we got in 27.
Right.
Okay, so we don't need to move. I mean, it's pretty, to me, that's pretty clear.
Right. Yeah, the last agreement wasn't as clear as this one is. So I will make a motion then to approve the quote to replace ladder 1 in 2028 as presented.
Second,
Motion is second to approve the quote for ladder 1 in 2028. Discussion?
Chief, I didn't get a chance to ask you last night. So this is a mid mount, but the mid mount reduces the turning radius.
Yeah, it's on this truck, it would reduce the turning radius of our current truck by over 2 feet. So
Because they move the rear axles
axles are a little bit closer
closer
together.
together.
And then with it being a rear mount or a mid mount, it has less tail swing when you make the turn too. So it's about 2 feet reduction, and it's kind of an estimate because the turning radius that we have for E1 for our current ladder, they didn't tell us if that's with the wheels on or not. One of the things that manufacturers like to do is they give you a turning radius with no wheels on it because it's a better turning radius, but obviously the truck wouldn't turn.
Stick it on my Easy Susan and spin it.
So
Okay.
the current truck, they say, is 42 feet for a turn. The new truck would be on just about 40 feet.
42 feet, 11 inches versus 40 feet, 4 inches.
So
Does that present any issues? And I'm just thinking like Authentics or the Frank's Apartments. Does that?
it'll actually make it, it's better. It's a better turning radius. The lower that number is, the better it is.
Shorter to
It
turn.
takes 40 feet to make the turn as opposed to taking 42 feet to make the
Oh,
turn.
okay. I read that wrong.
So
Okay.
the lower that number is, the better the value is.
Mike, did you second that?
yes.
Cool. That's all I had. Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Should we approve the contract then at the next meeting and sign it?
For the Reliant, the quote.
Yeah.
So
I think we approved that last night.
So what I'll do, so this is the quote, but like there's a purchase contract that'll have the Ts and Cs on it. What I was telling Chris, what I'll do is I'll actually get that from the salesman this week and I'll get it to both boards. Because last time the village attorney kind of redlined it and made some changes to it. And it was like down to the very last minute of getting it signed. So I figured if we got it to you guys early, you'd have some time to do that.
Yep.
And
Let's do that.
it'd be done.
Approve the
before-
purchase contract next.
It's just, the price is good till the 28th of January, so.
Should be fine.
It's signed by then, should be good.
So you'll get it to the lawyers ahead of our next meeting and then we'll
Yep.
approve the next meeting.
Okay. Next one is discuss and consider the Mavis Knox box for emergency service building.
So I talked to Chief Dennis from McFarland again today, and they still have their existing, they moved in their new station. Their old station has a Mavis Knox box. That's the one that's keyed to any Mavis unit can come in and get our key. He still has that box on his old building, so he's gonna go over there and take it off and give it to us for free. So it's gonna save us $500. We don't have to buy one then.
Where are you getting it from?
McFarland Fire Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the freebie. Send him a thank you.
That's almost
All
the
those in-
first payment of that ladder truck.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
And then just for clarification, we talked about it again. That building technically would fall under the ordinance of needing a knock box because there's materials in there that haven't been yet, but there's no reason to put one on because every firefighter that's responding to the building is gonna have a key to the building. So there's no point in opening a box to get a key when you're gonna have a key. Again, to me, there's no need to have the secondary Knox box, just the Mavis one for incoming units.
Okay,
Steve.
Steve.
all right. Next item, review and consider agreed values of apparatus for insurance purposes. Make sure everyone's okay.
I don't remember ever doing these before. Is this,
This is something I had to do. So every year I get an insurance questionnaire.
Okay.
That just basically, we have to redo all of our stuff. And this year they sent a flyer with it that basically they realized fire trucks have become a lot more expensive. They said that you should review your agreed values to make sure that in the event something happens, you're getting enough coverage to provide for replacement. And several of the items were way undervalued. So all the ones in red are things that we changed. And that more accurately reflects what it would cost to replace that truck at today's cost. So I already sent this to the insurance company. They haven't sent back our premium yet. They usually send that the first week of January. It's gonna go up a little bit, obviously,
Yeah.
because we changed all this, but I figured it's better to be protected than to sell ourselves short on that.
Right.
So
So you already provided the insurance company what they needed. Is
Yeah.
that what is for us to do? Just approve that you did that?
I think,
Just so that we're okay with it too.
Okay.
ladder truck's always a difficult one because we just approved it for, you know,
yeah,
2.1, but that truck is 20 years old. Is it really 1.7?
It's 1734.
Well, yeah, is that your replacement value or is that
we're putting,
agreed value?
they said you could do it whatever way the thing doesn't tell you which way to do it. They said you could do it what you think it's worth, or you can do it as replacement value. And I thought it would be better to put it all at replacement value in case the truck's totaled. That way we're not left holding the bag and trying to come up with money afterwards.
Out of all the listservs and email lists that you're on, how often does that do, or is apparatus ever totaled in an accident? Is that, I can't imagine that happens very often, but it does happen.
It doesn't happen a lot because most of the time they repair them. Even ones that have been rolled over, they'll pull them back up and straighten them out and try to fix them because they're so expensive that it takes a lot to total it.
Sure.
So it doesn't happen a ton, but it does happen. People would probably actually
Well,
know.
the thing is, if you don't insure it for the replacement value, they might total it, then you're hosed, right? Like if you insure it for $80,000 and you're gonna total it, then here's your 80 grand, go buy a new one.
So that's,
Costs to repair a truck are expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
I would opt to go higher rather than lower.
Right. I guess I'm just trying to understand the level of risk, right? Like,
It does happen,
Obviously.
accidents happen, and they happen quite frequently. And it's not necessarily because of the fire service. A lot of times it happens because of other drivers on the road. And they happen. So we should be kind of cautious and proactive with it.
is it, in your guys' experience, has any of our vehicles ever had to go in for a repair because of
They
incidents?
have, but very minor incidents.
Yeah, engine 4, when it was brand new, before it was put in service, it was backed into the ladder. And it hit the aerial device of the ladder.
Remember that?
So both trucks had to go out of service, and ladder 1 had to get some metal repaired on it, and then the ladder had to be recertified. And then engine 4 had to get some body work done on it. So that's the last significant accident that we've had. Knock on wood.
Do they put cameras on those things now, like backup cameras?
That's in that thing. It used to be an option, and we've done the option of doing the backup cameras as we've been ordering them because it's safer. But NFPA's new standard that's coming out for fire apparatus is now making it mandatory, so they'll all have it going forward.
Yeah.
We've even looked at doing dash cams.
In my truck, when I put the blinker on, and if I'm carrying a trailer, it shows me the side view of my trailer in my truck while I'm driving.
It's pretty cool.
So, and while we're talking about apparatus, that's one of the reasons why for lower value calls, we're not going lights and sirens anymore. We're doing non-emergent response. We're stopping at stoplights. Because the risk is just for what the call is it really worth, you know? When we had 14 false alarms at the one building, we knew it was going to be a false alarm, and there was no point in going lights and sirens to it. We'll respond slowly at normal pace and not put anybody in any added danger. So we've been doing that for lower value calls for a while now. So
We're lucky enough that we get CAD notes, so we're able to read as the call comes in, what the call is and what the information is. And so we can tell ahead of time if this is a true emergency or if it's going to be a false alarm, which kind of helps us identify if we should kind of go a little bit faster, and, you know, or if we can kind of downgrade it to a non-emergency siren to the call.
Should we be changing?
So
it
that's
from
really
other
helpful. And I know
to
you guys
GMP?
have probably seen in the annual report the last couple of years, we're actually putting a disclaimer in there right away that says we're not going red lights and sirens.
Yeah,
And that's really to protect ourselves and our community.
We approved an ordinance to start finding people for false alarms last night.
I saw that.
So,
Who actually, according to your ordinance, just out of curiosity, who's responsible for actually citing? Is it the chief or is it
Police
your PD?
We've got a really good relationship with Chief Gary. So that's been going really well.
specifically asked that last night. I was like,
What's that?
I specifically asked, I was like, Chief, do we know who's on first here? Like, who's gonna go issue the ticket? And is there any, because we've had hesitancy in here before around like, well, who's gonna go do that? And when are you gonna do it? How much is it? And so it's all codified now, so, and he's got an officer that's actually tracking it. So like, as soon as they hit that, the citation's going out.
What, is it like 3 strikes and you're out kind of thing or?
On the third one, I think you get.
I'd have to go back and look at the agenda.
it changed, so the
That's quick.
new ordinance basically made it so like you could technically get it on the first alarm, which is never gonna happen. But any subsequent one, you can get a ticket, and then after the third one, it elevates in price. And then after the 8th one, it elevates in price again.
$1,000.
Make it hurt.
Well,
We've
the old
got one
one,
that's at 14 right now.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's at 14.
Anyway, point of order here. I'll make a motion to approve the agreed value limits of apparatus for insurance purposes as presented tonight.
Second.
Motion and a second to agree on the values stated in the document. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Future agenda items. Next meeting on January 22nd after landfill.
Yep.
January 2nd,
22nd.
22nd.
Give me a heart attack. January 2nd. That's-
Wait a second.
Hold on a second. I like you guys, but just not that much. 2 weeks. I don't know. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Happy holidays, folks.
You too.
Have a good holiday.
Don't do anything I wouldn't. Not that that limits you, but.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, and that's why they actually.
Tough method.